ready to start a childcare program yet because it's too much competition out there. If that's you and that's what you're thinking, you need to make sure that you check out this video, because at the end of the day, it's not about too much competition. It's literally about you doing your due diligence on your market research. So let's get into it, because I'm going to teach you how. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Savage and I am a childcare consultant. I help people start, grow, and organize their childcare businesses for success. So in this video today, I really want to talk about why you need to do just a little bit of market research. You don't gotta be a techie person, you don't gotta be a researcher and all of the good things, but what you need to know is some basics, and I want to talk about that in this video today, because before you sign your life away to a new building, a new location, you need to know what's going on in the community, right? Like, you need to know, like, what is going on, who am I serving, what's my demographic, what does my competition look like, if I'm even thinking about signing up for this location. So that's what I want to talk about in this video today, because it's super, super important. Let's get into it. So I want to say, when you're thinking about your competition, you don't want to view your competition as a barrier, okay? Don't view all the other childcare programs as a barrier. View it as mindset and motivation. Like, oh no, if they can do it, I can do it, right? And I say that because I can't tell y'all how many times, especially in the city of Philadelphia, it's oversaturated with childcare programs. I can't tell you how many times on our avenues and our locations we'd had 3 or 4 competitions and multiple location sites, 3 daycares. So that's like 6 daycares in competition with this all at the same time. We still opened up, right? So do not look at your competition as a barrier. Instead, look at it as a motivator, because every single childcare business offers something different. Especially if you are in this space that you really believe that this is something that you can handle or that you want to do. You really, really want to make sure that you're not just like starting a childcare business just to do it, okay? All right, guys, so one of the first things I want to say is why market research is so important, not just for you to be a successful childcare entrepreneur or CEO, but honestly in any business. But I feel like why it's so important for you to understand and do your due diligence. At the end of the day, it's no one else's job and it's no one else's responsibility to know what's going on in a community that you're going to potentially service but you, right? You got to get your feet in there. You got to get your feet wet. You got to be boots on the ground, and you got to get around and do some market research. So one of the things I want to talk about is why it's so critical and important for you to do your market research is going to be, you got to identify the demand and identify the locations. And one of the things that I realized is that we can think that this is a community that needs this service or needs this type of program. You may be a childcare provider that only wants to open up, let's just say, after school program, but there's no schools around. Or you gotta travel, now you gotta get a van, now you gotta get insurance. All these things we're not thinking about. So you really, really want to think about and identify the demand. Is there a demand for your business in this location that you are now going to sign your name on, right? Is it an ideal location? Understanding the families that's in the area that you're going to be servicing. What are their childcare needs, right? And I say that because I remember in particular, one of our locations that we were getting, we wanted it to be like after school only program, right? Like that was our vision, my mom and I, when we were getting this childcare program. And it wasn't that far from one of our other locations, but needless to say, fast forwarding this story, it wasn't necessarily all that great of an idea. Why? Because at the end of the day, those schools and those programs that we began to service, they started getting free programs and they started getting things in their schools that you think parents gonna sign up for free, or you think they're gonna wanna come pay or sign up for another program that's gonna pay for their behalf. So market research, again, is super important to see what kind of families that you're servicing. What are the income levels of the families in the community that you're gonna be servicing? Are they high income? Are they medium? Are they low income? I don't know what income levels we at now as we are in 2025, but needless to say, what kind of income levels are in this program? Because these are the things that's going to help you choose the best location that fits your vision and your mission for your childcare program. Especially if you have childcare programs that maybe want to be maybe Christian based or Montessori, or, you know, not your typical A, B, C type of childcare program. So you really want to see what are the needs, what are the families, what is the middle level income that's coming in this overall community. Because while we are going to be marketing and getting other people coming from other communities, when you're thinking about making money, you're trying to make money in a neighborhood, in a community. That your second thing that I'm going to say is why it's so critical for you to do market research is going to be really analyzing and understanding your prices with your competitors. And most people may be like, well, I don't care about competition. And definitely right, we should definitely have that attitude, but you still need to know what's going on, right? You still want to be able to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. So when you're thinking about researching some of your competitors, you're setting a competitive price. Don't think that you're just in a space like, oh, they're charging $100 a day, I'm going to charge $75 a day, right? It doesn't matter whether you are high, whether you are low. Obviously, people come to you for low, but that goes hand in hand with quality, right? So you want to be able to really compare apples to apples. I always tell our childcare clients, especially in our VIP coaching program, that compare apples to apples, meaning compare a program. Is it the same size as yours? Does it have as many classrooms as yours? Is it multiple funding streams? Does it have the same level of accreditation as yours? Think about all these things when you're doing your competitive market research, because that's where you are going to identify the service gaps. That's where you identify service gaps when you go into those communities that you're thinking about opening up your childcare business and you're seeing what age groups do they service. I can't tell you how many childcare providers nationwide right now that will tell you my program is not doing so well because it's taken over by all the free pre-K programs that's in the city, whether it's at a federal level, whether it's at a state level or city level, right? They may say that. And so if you're a new childcare provider that's coming in, that's something you should know, right? That's something that you need to familiarize yourself, right? Because it's going to position your business and your childcare program for kind of the best pricing option, but really to know what are you going to start your services out with, because many times the way you start your services out doesn't mean that's all you're going to service. I can't remember a time when we first opened. We've been open well over 26 years now. I love to call myself a second generation childcare owner. My mom started the childcare business when I was 3 years old, and I've joined into the family business in that way. But I say all that to say that this is where you really get to see where things are going and where things are flowing by you getting in there and seeing what the best options are, by seeing what the gaps are that people are or are not fulfilling them. And if they're not fulfilling them, why? What is going on in that community, right? Next thing I want to talk about is going to be ensuring your financial and market success. Okay, so one of the things you always want to think about is you want to know what are the needs of the parents, right? What are the hours that they're looking for? Do they need any special services, right? Is this an overall community where maybe people are working or not working? Are they looking for more part-time or are they looking for more full-time hours? What are the needs of the schools that surround you guys? Don't sleep on school-age programs and don't sleep on before and after care programs, because they can definitely rank in some good bucks for you. So you really want to know, like, what are the needs and what is it going to do to help you and really get to make sure that you are marketing your business successfully, right? And I say that to say because everybody nowadays, same way you guys are finding me here on this YouTube channel, we're Googling, right? It doesn't take nothing but for you to Google childcare programs near me, go on their websites, look at their prices, give them a phone call, see what services that they're offering. Use the power of the internet, okay? When you're thinking about doing your market research and why it's so important, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to really do some basic market research. Do not open up a childcare center just because it feels good. I'm gonna say it again. Do not start a childcare business just because it feels good. Do not expand your current childcare business just because it's an emotion that you had, especially if you have not done your research in the new location as to why you want to start this new childcare business, or if you haven't done your research in your own business and your own finances to see if your business can even sustain an expansion. Hey you, yes you, I'm definitely talking to you. If you're seeing this video and you are a childcare provider or you're looking to start a childcare center, you've landed on the right channel. I offer the #1 Childcare Startup University course, and it is a self-paced course. It walks you through all of the steps on how to start your dream childcare business. So if you're looking for a little coaching, a little guidance, definitely make sure you head over to my website at www educatedminds.com, where I offer services, courses, coaching sessions, videos, all of the things that you need to start, grow, and scale your childcare business. Let's get back to it. So I told you the 3 reasons why it's super important to do your market research, but now I want to give you some actionable steps, right? So you genuinely may not know how to do this research. And so how do you really identify your demand area in your business or in the location that you're possibly looking to actually expand or start this location? So one of the first ones is obviously going to be the U.S. Census Bureau. Is literally information that's on their website. Another great one is to look at your local state, your city or your state, but typically your state, website that lists all of the childcare programs. They even break it down by zip code, by accreditation level, by the type, like whether it's family, group, or size. Every single state has a website that gives you all of the licensed, I'm gonna say that again, all of the licensed childcare programs in that state that's registered. So do your due diligence and go on those websites, right? Because once you go on those websites and you start reading and laying your eyes on things, you're gonna see if it's a high percentage of working parents, right? Especially if you go on the U.S. Census Bureau many times, you'll be able to see if it's a high percentage of working families. You'll be able to see if it indicates an actual strong demand for people. That's why they take those surveys. Use that information. So look for areas with growing populations. Do you ever see like let's say, do you ever see where you have restaurants many times and they are actually like opening up businesses and you're like, dang, how did they know to open up this childcare business or this restaurant or this school in this particular demographic area? They did their market research, right? Look at a lot of your local businesses. You may be like, dang, I never see a Starbucks nowhere here. Why is that? Market research. Look and see what the demands are. You can look for areas with growing populations, and then in those growing populations, as it's rising, okay, you'll see clearly limited childcare is in that zip code or the neighboring zip codes around it. You may think that that sounds like a lot for you to actionably do, but if you can get on this YouTube channel here and you can research and Google and sign up for courses and classes, you can definitely do your due diligence by doing some market research by those simple steps that I said, checking out the U.S. Census Bureau and also checking out your local state website with all of the licensed childcare center programs listed on there. All right, so the second actionable step that I'm going to talk about is analyzing your competitors. Okay, this is something you can actionably do, like literally get this done. Don't wait, don't put it off. Don't be a procrastinator. Get it done, okay? You got to put this work in order to get to that final destination. So one of the second actionable steps I'm going to say is when it comes to analyzing your competitors and setting those competitive prices, you might wonder like, well, I don't even know where to start or how to do that. A really great resource to look at is your Childcare Aware of America, okay? It's a really good website. It really lists out and provides a lot of childcare supplies and demand, average cost by the state, the quality indicators, because again, we're trying to compare apples to apples, right? Another one is, so like, let's say an example, let's say you check out your competitor's website, you're reviewing some Google reviews, they're telling you what they like, what they don't like, what they wish they would have had, all of that stuff in between. You're looking at their social medias, you're visiting their website, seeing the services that it is. You're gonna see like, okay, what this ABC daycare offers only toddler care in regular preschool, right? ABC daycare number 2, or maybe 1, 2, 3 daycare number 2, they offer only just pre-K and only school age program. I don't see any of the childcare programs when I'm calling, when I'm researching, when I'm on their Instagrams and on their pages and on their visible presence. That's a whole nother topic and a whole nother video for a whole nother day. But when I'm doing my market research on my local competitors, I don't see anybody offering infant care. Okay? This is why competitive market research is so important. So my last actionable step when it comes to your actual tools for market research, guys, is going to be, let's say that you're on Facebook, which many of us are, right? Get into them Facebook groups. Get into the parent groups, especially if you ever notice there's plenty of parent groups in the surrounding area where you're looking at, right? There's plenty of work from home mom groups. The internet is at your fingertips. Maximize it, okay? But get into those Facebook groups, ask polls, ask questions, see What are their needs? Why are they looking for childcare, or why are they not looking for childcare, right? These are all things that you want to do. You can also, if you have your own social media platform, you can always use SurveyMonkey, which is a really great survey platform for you just to get tons and tons of data and information, especially if you're thinking about starting a business. Like, don't be embarrassed. That's what I tell people. A lot of times people don't want to put things out, or they don't want to ask this publicly because it's like, I don't want nobody to know I'm doing this. But let me tell you something. When you get into that CEO hat and you get into that space, that goes by the wayside. You got to put your big pants on, and you really got to be able to show up in that space. Another good one I'm going to say is attend local meetings, okay? I know y'all see when they have local community school meetings, local pre-K meetings, local childcare meetings, the good thing is that it's webinars a lot of times now. Register for your state websites, right? Opening up a childcare business is not just like, okay, I'm starting this today and I'm done in 3 months. That's not that, right? It takes time, effort, dedication, money, and so many other things under the sun. But what I do want to say is that you can very well much go to community events, go to PTA meetings, go get on them websites, register for those websites. So when they are having webinars, even if you're not a childcare provider yet, show up. Hear what's going on. So that way you can really know what's going on in the community and where you're potentially looking to service at, because ideally you kind of already know in your mind, like, I want to be in this area. You know, like you may be in that area and it might end up not working for you, but initially when you're doing this research, you kind of know where you want to be. You're basing that off of where you really want your business just to be at, or why you've already made up in your mind that this is a good location. So get in that community, go to those libraries, get resources, get flyers so you can show up and you can get the alerts. As you're still building your business and you're still learning, now you're getting emails, now you're getting those alerts, now you're getting those things in the mail. You can be like, dang, let me register for this, because you want to hear what the parents in the communities are saying. That is your ideal customers, families. Wherever the families are is where you want to be. All right, guys, as we wrap up this video, I just want to say one of the things that I want to share is that I always share is that we had 4 childcare programs at one point in time. And again, as I already mentioned, I've come into this business as a second-generation childcare owner. And so I can give you real life examples is that some locations I really did do my full-fledged market research. Here we are, still standing. And some of those locations, I guarantee my mom can agree on this video, we didn't do the market research, right? We were just like, okay, no, this is good. We're full. It's time to expand, right? It felt good at that moment. But when you're signing a 3-year lease, a 5-year lease, do the market research. Take that time to just get that knowledge, because when you get it, it helps you make more conscious decisions. But what I will tell you was, I might have didn't go on the census website. I might have wasn't taking those surveys, especially back in that era. That was like 2016, 17, 14. Back in that space, I wasn't doing all of those things. I was just moving and shaking and going. My mom and I, we were like, okay, let's do it. You know, we think that this is a good time. But one thing I do want to say that I can tell you that I've definitely learned, I remember, I never forget, I asked my mom, hey, why did you wait so long to expand from a family-based business, like a family childcare program where we lived in that home, to a center? Like, it took her like 7, 8, 9 years. I asked her, like, why? Because what I see nowadays is people get one location, and in 2 years, here come the next restaurant. 3 years, here come the next location. That doesn't always mean that that's the right way to do it. And still to this day, everything that she said to me is so key. She said to me, Dominique, I didn't want to jump out there. When I was doing my business and my family, we had a family childcare business. I didn't want to jump out there and get a location, and I didn't. I wasn't my own director, right? She said, I don't want to, have to depend on people for their education places. More importantly, at that time, my credit was terrible. I wanted to get my credentials under my belt, right? I wanted to get my credit under my belt, get my business established on paper, right? So when I do go out there to get my actual commercial location, I'm in this for the long haul. Ownership. I wanted to buy the building, right? I don't want to rent someone's building for 5 years. I already been in my home for 7 years, and now I'm renting for 5 years, and then the landlord changes his mind or something. Then I got to start my business all over again, right? So think long haul, think long term. And I share that real world example because the same way that she explained that back to me in the early 2000s, it's happening now in the cycle. Okay, so do not rush the process. Take your time, trust your process. If you are not willing to do a little bit of market research, then you have to tell yourself, like, I'm not ready for that space yet, because market research is mere just the beginning. So I want to know, guys, what is it? Like, just please drop it down in the comments, because these are the things that help me. Tell me what's one thing that worries you when you're in the space of doing your market research. Like, what is one thing that worries you about competition? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this video and where they came from, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Educated Minds, because this is what helps me keep making videos. Make sure that you definitely share it with a friend or two, because there's always people looking for gems and knowledge. Until next time.